السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. ونشهد أن سيدنا وعظيمنا وحبيبنا محمد رسول الله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. نشهد أنه بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الغمة وجاهد في الله حق جهاده حتى أتاه اليقين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كلام الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة في الدين ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Brothers and sisters in Islam, one of the main points that Muslims are proud to show their pride is matter of the aqidah, the belief that they believe in and they are following. And the beauty of deen is, of our religion, it has two major components. The two components need each other. One which is the pillar of the aqidah, and then the other one is arkan, the duties. What to do, what to believe and what to do. Because if those two, they won't be together, either one will be lack of completion. It will never be in a situation that what exactly that is. So if you have just a theory, when you take a training at your work or another place online, you always listen to the slides and you go 4, 5, 10 slides. If there will not be practical, especially if the matter, the item that you are doing, it won't be examples to give it to you, you will have a hard time to follow and stay consistent with that subject and theory. You always look for something to be tangible, to be able to tell, this is really, I understand the concept and how to apply it. The deen, the religion is the same. In a way that to have the part which is what it is, and then what to do. And what is the model that I could be like. Because even what to do, it is, if it is not defined properly, is it I could do it or not? I need someone who has done it, so that I could do the same. And that's important, because always, sometimes we do it wrong. When you have a child, try to embarrass him or embarrass her, that you point to another child who was successful to be like him. And then you have to have a proper way to really make a competition. But the point is here that you always look for someone to be guided and to be a model that the other person to follow. So, saying that, let's come to the aqidah part. Focus in this part of the khutbah. What are the things that why we see that this aqidah, this belief that we have, is such a unique, and what characteristics it has to us to also be able to, for ourselves, when we believe it in properly, as well as when you talk to your children or your friends or co-workers, all those to transfer the message, the beauty of this aqidah and the belief that we are following. Because any theory subject is always, there is complexity with it. To understand it and to comprehend it, if that is not close to what you are, how you are thinking. And it needs harder time to comprehend. Not many people understand the theory of Isaac Newton or Einstein. Human being wrote it. But if you start to talk about it, it takes hours and hours to make it, that person to be that level to understand it. If the aqidah is the same, like is matter of the aql and the brain, what is that has that it will not take us hours and hours of that complexity? Number one, aqidatun wadiha. It's a clear belief, the clarity in this message. Because if there will be ambiguity around this belief, if I would not be or you would not be able to explain to your child, that means something wrong. That means something in this aqidah is not clear. That way that you cannot explain it to the other people. In the days like in 50s, 60s when communists came, and then there were some theories, and only certain people, just they were saying it's for farmers and laborers and all of those big words, but when the guy was explaining it, your head was just like he's talking to the rocks. So, because it is really far, but the aqidah, the belief that you have, although the aqidah part is completely ghaib, unseen, but now it has to have that clarity. The deen of Islam has that clarity of the aqidah. When you explain the pillar of the aqidah, when you say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one, you have to believe in your creator, the creator of the universal, and he is one. He's not two, he's not three, he can't have a child, he won't have a child. All those that you lock the border of that belief that you are believing in. Because if I say he has a child, then you are looking for the wife. Who is the wife? And then when he has a child, say who is the child's wife? And then and so on. It will never end it. Because questions comes after the other one. But when you say قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one. Uniqueness, then you lock all the areas that you won't let. لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ. So you can't have any other questions around that after that. So having that clarity in the aqidah, in the beliefs that you are believing in, is really makes sense. And then you go to the other pillars. Really, in aqidah, two major pillars are important. Two major, when I'm saying important, all are important, but those two, people have a hard time to believing in them. Because there is not tangible thing with them. Number one, believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number two, believing in the day of the judgment. Believing in prophets and books and angels is really all are driven from those two. And number one is believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because believing in prophets, there are so many people, most of those prophets we are sharing among each other. About 75% of the people, we believe in all of those prophets. Except Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and then other groups, they don't believe in Jesus and so on. But the matter of the family of Abraham, many people are on this earth they believe in. So we do not have the problem in the believing of the prophet, as we have a problem of people to follow the uniqueness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the believing in the day of the judgment. So, but when you try to explain to that this life is not the life of the just, there will be another life, that whoever has a right on the other, if he did not get it, he has to get it back. And if you did right, has to be compensation as well. Does it make sense that you always come to the masjid, you don't commit any crime, the other person does every day thousands of crimes, and then you just both die? So that clear in the aqidah is always makes sense. If the aqidah would have says that there is no day of judgment, everybody dies, then there is no just there. You say this lacks of certain characters. It's not well clear for us what will happen when you just come and go to die. That's one. Number one. Number two is aqidatul fitra. It's compatible with the nature of human. Give you a very simple example. If you go back home, even in the masajid, the people who have mental problems, really in a heavy degree, but when they like to come to the masjid, they like to be joined to the masjid. They will never go far from the masjid. When they come to the masjid, some of them, they do crazy things. People, I have seen it, they tear the Quran, they open it, but it is not the way that they go far from the masajid. I gave that example so that to tell you could go down to a kid, 5 years old, 4 years old, 6 years old, you bring him and sit beside you at the masjid and in the prayer, and all those, it's accepted. You see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one. Of course, we'll ask more questions. But it goes to the brain. Whatever level of the question is asking, it is in a way that you could answer. There are certain things go far, but in general, the whole conclusion is this aqidah is fitra, is a nature. Otherwise, Prophet ﷺ, when he is telling us the hadith, that to tell your child to pray when they are 7. And so when they are 7, to bring them up in that area, so that mind to be open. But the mind, when you try to encourage him, won't be rebellious. Won't say that this is why I do that. The way that it's accepting the message is going with the fitrah of the human. كل مولود يولد على الفطرة إنما أبواه يهودانه أو ينصرانه أو يمجسانه. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, فطرة الله التي فطر الناس عليها لا تبديل لخلق الله ذلك الدين القيم ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون. Surah Al-Rum. So there is no changes in the creation. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the way He made it this path, it's really in a way to be compatible with the nature of human. And won't be any burden. And you bring up people who are coming to this deen as well. In the ibadat, in the duties, in the belief that we follow, all are compatible with our life. Number 3 is aqidatun thabita. This is really the key. Aqidatun thabita. It's a fixed belief. We say the belief we have is the same belief Adam has. It's the same belief Adam had. It's the same belief Noah had, or Ibrahim had, Yaqub had. All those, because this is the way the fixed is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not send to the Prophet something that to be changed and to be different from what he gave to Jesus and Moses. It's the same. He didn't say, Muhammad, you will be in a different status, then you will be partner with God, that you have to, people will worship you partially. Because if there will be there, then there is no fixed aqidah. But شرع الله لكم من الدين ما وصى به نوحا. This is the same. This is the same path that they followed. Therefore, that fixedness is good. It will help your mindset as well, that you are not following something that tomorrow could be different. We have to be sure to differentiate between when we say the aqidah is different from the prayer, from the duties. Duties are ibadat. But the belief that we are following, believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, prophets, angels, and books, and day of the judgment, and the faith, qadr, all those are the fixed assets that we have. And in your mindset, it never changes. And don't expect any ijtihad, any opinion to come up to say it will change. Whoever now, after that, now why certain groups, Qadianiya for example, in India and Indo-Pakistanis brothers, they know that. The guy came up with some theory to say, I am a prophet. I am a prophet after Muhammad, Mirza Ahmad, or Baha'iyya. All those, they came, maybe they believe in Islam, they believe in the Prophet ﷺ, but the extra belief they added, I am a prophet also. I have a book, I have some messages also came from God. So, stop here. Because this is contradicting with that fixed assets that we have. He says there is no prophets. That is a final. It's done. There is a full stop there. If anyone claims that, we say, go back. We don't accept your message. So that's where the clarity and the fixedness is there in the aqidah, that what we have. Number 4 is a realistic, is aqidatul mubarhana, is self-proof. You don't have to go far to justify it. Because you start with a belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. First of all, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not hold the hand of anyone or the mind of anyone to say, اعتقد وأنت أعمى. Believe and you are blind. Take it. طوعا أو كرها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say that. Take it by force. قل الحق من ربكم فمن شاء فليؤمن ومن شاء فليكفر. That He gave you that option. Of course, it comes with a price. But that's where it comes. It gave why He says, but He says, when we said to the earth and the heavens, قالت طوعا أو كرها قالت أتينا طائعين. He told them you have to follow willingly or unwillingly to the heaven and the earth. They said we came طائعين to obey. But with human, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says differently. فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. What's the difference? Why for that one says that, for this one it says that? Because of this. So that He gave you power. He gave you extra layer that you could think and use it. To say this path, I take it, is really self-proof. And in many verses, قُلْ انظُرُوا ماذا في السماوات والأرض. I created this universal for you. انظروا. Look at it. What is in it? And see, this is the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. هذا خلق الله. فأروني ماذا خلق الذين من دوني. Compare it. This is the creation of Allah. In Luqman, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this is the creation of Allah. Tell me, what's the creation of the others you are claiming other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Use this and do that comparison for yourself, so that you know this is self-proof path to follow. And another verse, وَفِي الْأَرْضِ آيَاتٌ لِلْمُوقِنِينَ. On this earth, so many signs for the people who are believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَفِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. And among yourself, I was reading in one of the news website, you are saying that the people, if you combine all the COVID-19 viruses, all of them on this earth, it won't fill a can of Pepsi, Coca-Cola. It won't fill it. Imagine one can. If it will be 12, what are we going to do? So imagine this matter of that there is how the power is controlling this. What is the one who controls it? It goes out of control and become in such a amount the entire humanity will be dead. It's like there is a measurement in behind. It does control it on and off and increase it and decrease it. You feel it. Otherwise, we hardly came up with the vaccine. And the vaccine, we are not 100% sure even if it works and there is no consequences. There was not enough time even for FDA to approve it. But they call it emergency approval. Go. Otherwise, it takes 2 years to have that. But beside that, there is some control around it. The vaccines came up in 2 months. But the spread, the way it came at the beginning, think about it, how there is this power on this earth that we are, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us is not a mess. I'll finish it in the second khutbah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. من عمل صالحا فلنفسه ومن أساء فعليها وما ربك بظلام للعبيد توجهوا إلى الله بالدعاء. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. Brothers and sisters in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, in the same area that the human being, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling him to use his brain, قُلْ هَاتُوا بُرْهَانَكُمْ إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. Bring your proofs if you are truthful. So when you are a believer in this deen, you never be locked that to say, I'm not accepting, I'm not listening, I'm not taking any discussion. It's always be open-minded. Be open-minded. Wallahi, you have a path, you will never see any path to be able to challenge it. So be open so that you won't see it as you follow this blindly. And if I disobey this path, it's going to be something wrong. Because important for your life, when you follow this path, you do it with your full intellect, with your full confidence. So therefore, even for the person who claims that, hatu burhanakum, bring your proof. If you are claiming your path is better than this, and have that proper discussion. The fifth characteristics is aqidah wasatiyah, the well-balanced in the faith. As we said at the beginning, the complexity, it has enough to be compatible with for the people who are digging into information, and it has that simplicity. Any simple person can accept this message. Uneducated people, illiterate people. Wallahi, there are certain illiterate people, they have so much wara' and taqwa. The person who ever has, I don't know if it was in this khutbah or in another khutbah, Imam Razi, most of you heard about him. Razi is just Razi. He's such a scholar, strong scholar. So one time he was in a place and people all were rushing to meet him and ask him questions and like nowadays to take a picture with him, just because people will look at him as a holy person. He was famous. So everybody was going. Then an old lady, when he looked at the people all are rushing toward this man, she didn't know what's going on. She asked the people, what is going on? Why those people are running toward that side? They said, oh, that's Razi. He says, who's Razi? He said, you don't know Razi? He said, no. They said, the guy told them that Razi is the one, he has so many proofs about existence of God. And he has so much knowledge about that. And then the old lady said, so when was the time God needed to bring proofs for her? When was that time? The man said, well, I have to go and tell him. So he rushed to Razi and met him, and then he told him the story. And then Razi is narrated, he says, oh, Allah gave me the iman of the ajais. Give me the belief of that lady had. Up to that level that she was surprised. She said, God was, why is it even need to bring proof for him, to prove it? The point, that's simplicity. The person in that higher level, like Ghazali and Razi, Ibn Taymiyyah, and all those, they write in the Aqidah, sometimes you say, what did they write? I need a Mukhtar al-Sahah or Mu'jam al-Lisan to understand their statements. But in the other side, you will see, wallahi, the wara' and taqwa from certain people in simplicity of this belief. Wallahi, if they make the dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will respond to them in the same time. How did they make it? But because it is so simple to go to the heart and accepting it. It doesn't require much work to say I have to finish that much of knowledge, but it is here. When you open that gate for it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it easy. But of course, if we are with the sick hearts, we go and we look at the stuff with the doubt. We say we tawakkal ala Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but we do not have that tawakkul. Shaykh al-Islam, I'll finish it with this, with the time. Ibn al-Qayyim has this statement. Wallahi, it was amazing. Therefore, I put it as I have to mention during the khutbah. It says, فِي الْقَلْبِ شَعَثٌ. In the heart there is an area. لَا يَلُمُّهُ إِلَّا الْإِقْبَالُ عَلَى اللَّهِ. This area will not be satisfied except when you go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَفِيهِ وَحْشَةٌ لَا يُزِيلُهَا إِلَّا الْأَنَسِ بِاللَّهِ. There is a strangeness. There is a strangeness inside it. The only way feels normal except when you get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That you don't feel odd on this earth. Remember, human being is really the soul. The body is just the carrier. The body is a carrier. The body is changing. But your mindset maybe is the same like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But the body is changing. It's getting old. But the soul stays there. That's the one, there is no age with it. So that strangeness is when you get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَفِيهِ حُزْن. Always there is a sadness. Sadness in the heart. There is no happy. The happiness times that you will get on this life is very limited. The worries are much, much, much more. Starting from yourself, from your family, from your child, for your job, from your community, on the existence of human being. How far you go and think, that much of the worries are coming. And the sadnesses are getting to you. That huzn is لا يذهب إلا السرور بمعرفته. When you will be there, you feel that joy with knowing Him. Knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala وصدق معاملته, to be truthful when you deal with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وفيه قلق لا يسكنه إلا الاجتماع عليه والفرار إليه. And there is worry in it. And that worry will not settle except when you go to Him. وفيه نيران حسرات لا يطفئها إلا الرضا بأمره والنهي. There are areas of the sorrows and griefs. Any people, when they tell him that your father passed away, your mother passed away, your child has that, or yourself, you have such a cancer, you have that. This is destroying. This sorrow and griefs, it will stay there. And it will never end it. But when you link it to رضا بأمره ونهي, Aqidah is there. That he says you have to accept what He decided on you, what color He gave you, what height He gave you, what type of the other things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what type of the heart or the lung or the liver or the feet, all those, the health He gave you. You say, Amantu billah. You accept. So, al-amri wa nahi, you accept that, then that griefs will go away and it won't bother you much. It will not give you a hard time in your life. Bi-amri wa nahi wa mu'anaqatu sabr. And then to be patient. Brothers and sisters in Islam, feeling the pride and to be proud of this aqidah is really important. This is the only way. This is we mentioned many times. Aqidah is an engine. This belief is an engine for that it makes you how you pray, how you pay your zakah, how you do your the fasting. Any khair you do, it's really the pusher in the back is the aqidah. If you firm it, correct it, make it right, the other actions will automatically come right. But if there is problems in this, If the engine has issue, it doesn't matter how much you put stickers on your car, it will just bump one and it won't go last. So therefore it is for us as a believer really important to have more knowledge about this aqidah and to cleanse our heart with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the best part of the aqidah in our heart, inshallah. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us the best follower to His path, inshallah. Wa sallu wa sallimu ala nabiyikum thalan liqawlihi tabaraka wa ta'ala. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات المسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت فإنك تقضي ولا يقضى عليك وإنه لا يذل من واليت ولا يعز من عاديت تباركت ربنا وتعاليت فلك الحمد على ما قضيت نستغفرك اللهم من جميع الذنوب والخطايا ونتوب إليك اللهم وفقنا ووفق أولادنا لما تحبه وترضاه اللهم لا تدع لنا في مقامنا هذا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا ضالا إلا هديته ولا مريضا إلا شفيته ولا ميتا مؤمنا إلا غفرته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا حاجة هي لك رضا ولنا فيها صلاحا في الدنيا والآخرة إلا قضيتها يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا ولمن له حق علينا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون قوموا إلى صلاتكم يرحمكم الله قم الصلاة
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح